And John, he worked for a guy called Shannon, who was an Orangeman, but a good Orangeman.
Derry?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He gave him an apprenticeship because he liked my dad. And he gave John an apprenticeship, and then Shannon's also had bought a traditional laundry, and Derry had been there for many, many years. So Shannon's bought the laundry.
Oh.
So I don't know, I've done something there, Johnny. Oh, I know it was. He bought Kathleen a box of Black Magic candy, and I'm snooping around with her all at mass. Spotted that box of Black Magic. Got the lid up. Started working on the second row.
Second tier.
Yeah. And then Johnny took Kathleen to the movies. Then when they got in to turn the lights out, they found out after the first row there was empty space. Our Johnny come home, he hit me a clash. Didn't hurt me, you know, a gentle fellow. Didn't even ruin me, he'd laugh a lot. But I'm mad, I'm a little shit, I'm brooding, you know, in the corner. And just as the bigger brothers, the younger kids always. So he was taking his laundry to Shannon's, and when I knew what was going on up there, I was up, the girls behind the counter were swooning. Oh, John, how are you? You know, yes, you know. He was very handsome. And they'd take his laundry and they'd fold it up and put it away and all. He got a discount because he worked for Shannon's. That was a right little shit. Somebody brought some chocolate spread into the house. It was like a coca.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering how I'm going to get back at our Johnny, and it just occurred to me. When I get chocolate spread, I got the tail of his shirt. And then he goes up to Shannon's. He'd always dress up to go up with a necktie and all in his laundry. Now, they unfurled that thing for me. Looking for me. Wanted to kill me. Good brother. Good brother. Micky was good. Micky would get me up in a chair, but if you, two of you sat sideways, you could sit, just, you know, and he'd read to me the comic books. And I learned to read that way, just listening to him. You know, when you was stuck in school with a 4 or 5 digit number, and the teacher says, what's that number now? When he wrote this number on, read off that number for us. It was something like 6,442. I couldn't read it. Other kids in there could, but I couldn't. I was probably doing it, breaking marbles in half and playing guys, sticking one half in the mud and letting them lose their marbles, you know. But they said to me, have you got a brother in this class up 2 grades up? Yes. Go up there, Alex Bradley, go up there and get John Micky McKinney down here. Brother can't read these numbers, we'll get him to work with him.
Oh,
Got our Micky down there. He come into the class with a spray. Guy says, Micky, see your brother can't read this number. Can you read it off for him? Hey, poor. He was worse than I was.
Didn't win any friends with that move.
Yeah.
Didn't win any friends with that.
Yeah. But
So
you
where-
know your art farm, you know where that came from?
No.
Well, your grandmother, McKinney, was born out in the country. So she knew what a hen and a chicken and a cow and a horse looked like.
Where was she, where?
And Cloddy, I took you out and showed it to you,
Yeah.
that house and the green
Were the two sisters out there in Clyde?
ground. Yeah,
Were those grandma's sisters?
yeah, all the sisters, yeah, all my mother's sisters.
Or mother's sisters?
7 sisters.
Didn't they have a little, we stayed in that place there, and they had a little, cause you know what, I remember them killing a chicken there when I was there.
Yeah, yeah,
And, they had a little half door in the place, they had a sweet shop.
yeah, that's right. McKinney's, yeah.
Yeah.
But she, you know, the kids in there, the country kids, if you got them in school, those country kids come in the buses, and there was city kids that lived right in the city. All them country boys were smarter. My cousin Joey Nicholas is one of the smartest kids in the school. Because when you went down by Joey, like my mother was going to visit her sister Annie, and it'd just be me and Joe would go wading in the river Faughan, and we'd do all this sort of stuff together and all that, you know, that was, but he had nothing to do. There was no TV, few of them could afford a radio.
Yeah.
They just looked around them.
Wow.
City folks didn't. And John, she taught him, I remember her, him sitting at her knee.
Who's this now?
Your grandmother, McKinney,
Yeah.
Mary. And she would teach him, that's not like a horse's leg. A horse's leg is bent such a way and this way. And
Oh, I see. Showing John how to draw. The figures.
he was taught how to draw on her knee. And he drew a battle scene of Joan of Arc with Terence. I remember that I took it to school, in technical school, and they were all around. His work was up on a ward case.
Remember we went to the McKinneys, Junior McKinneys in Brooklyn? Remember we went to Junior McKinneys in
Yeah.
Brooklyn? And his house was full of paintings and drawings and sculptures and everything, and they were all McKinneys. The whole house.
There were,
full of them.
Irish painters that were going through New York and left them there.
But most of the paintings that he had there were done by McKinneys.
Oh yeah, John, we had a,
Because I would ask him there.
you have a relation, probably not alive now, but I believe his name was Charles, and he's in the Scottish Book of World Poets. And the McKinneys in Scotland built a railroad up north. They were a pretty busy bunch.
Yeah. So how many sisters did Grandma have? She had 7?
7.
What were the 2 named in Claudy?
Huh?
The 2 in Claudy.
There was 7 of them in Cloddy.
Well, they were all in Claudy.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's a little
Rose, Etta,
Rose and Alice.
Josephine, my mother, and Jenny.
That's like 5.
5.
They were Crossans.
Crossan. And old Mick, your great grandfather, know who he was? He was 6'4". Pretty, 6'2" maybe. But he was very tall.
Yeah.
And behind his bed, his bedroom was on the ground floor. He had an old swallowtail coat hanging there, it was green. And all I remembered was a split tail, and it was green and 2 buttons over the tails.
Kind of formal.
So he would tell me, he'd get me up on his knee, and he'd say, that's the coat that I wore Father McFadden's banquet. explained to me Father McFadden's banquet, whereby the British wanted to get all the rebel leaders in the one bunch, so they were releasing his patriot, Father McFadden, and they were holding a banquet for him, so they'd get all the rebels all in the one hall, get them and eaten. Well, the boys put on their swallowtail coats. They were the moonlighters, and they went to Father McFadden's wedding armed, and the British got slaughtered. And I didn't know why. It was just it didn't stick in my, till I seen a thing on the computer, on the TV, you know, when you were on the computer. History of Donegal. I sat away for that section of it. Tells about Father McFadden's wedding and how the guys all wore their green swallowtail coats to that British banquet, and how the British got ruined at that banquet. And then I thought about his old coat hanging up behind the door he told me about. And he sure must have travelled a lot. The other thing, Terence, I think you got it, was your great-grandfather McKinney from Derry, where he had to go to see Marjorie O'Boyle in Gweedore. There was no cabs, no buses. And he had a hoof that over mountain ranges and downhill, and he had it in his diary there, a little map of how to get to Marjorie O'Boyle in Gweedore. He married her. Then you're one of them Charles McKinneys. I think it was my dad's brother.
How many brothers and sisters did your dad have?
Huh?
How many brothers and sisters did your dad have?
I think my dad had one sister, I think 6 brothers.
I don't think I ever met any of them.
Huh?
I don't think I ever met any of them.
You probably wouldn't. I probably didn't even meet. I met Huey, was my dad's brother, Tommy, Jimmy.
So,
I'm called after Jimmy.
so Junior McKinney, Thomas, Junior McKinney in
It
New
was
York,
Tommy.
was Tommy's
was
kids?
one, yeah.
Oh, okay. And did Junior have brothers then?
Junior had 3 brothers that were priests. All priests.
Oh, is that
Tommy's dad, kids.
Gabriel?
Yeah. Malachi.
Malachi, Gabriel, and somebody else.
Junior. It's just Tommy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And then Malachi and.
Tommy.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's somewhere. There's a couple of years there.
Your grandma was very superstitious.
Grandma?
Yeah. Do you remember her? Do you remember?
Who could?
Do you remember? Do you remember we were going through? We were with Micky and John, so they had the Volkswagen, the remember they had the Beetles, the Volkswagens.
Mm-hmm.
John had a Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Micky had a Volkswagen, and then we had a rental car.
I remember you. I had to tell you to shut up.
Why?
When we got over to when we got into the airport, John was picking us up in the Volkswagen, and he already had Kathleen and 3 of his kids in it. And then when we all squeezed into that Volkswagen, our Johnny and a little round moustache looks in the mirror. Everybody comfortable back there? And you said, and I was hoping you didn't hear me. Hey Dad, we could put this thing in the back of our Chrysler.
Well, it was absurd to pick us up.
For God's sake, we haven't even got to bed yet. But that Charles McKinney, he's a guy I would like to have met. he was a prospector for gold,
And was he,
Kelly had that, and that
was he your, wait, was he your dad's,
brother.
your dad's brother?
Yeah, Charles.
Charles, okay. Was he the one
The
that,
whole, I don't know the whole interconnection here. It was very muddled for me growing up. I didn't know them, you know. Now we had a guy come over from the United States, and I was only a little kid. And this guy was huge. Well, of course, I'm only that size.
right, yeah.
I mean, he's massive, you know. He had this big Stetson on him. And he was a warden, or he had some official job. I thought it was a governor of a jail in California or New York.
So what was Grandpa's father's name? Was it John?
John.
Oh, it was John McKinney too. I think I have the picture of him at home.
Yeah,
He's wearing a Stetson,
could be.
yeah, standing next to a chair.
And they all had Mickey pointed at me. I told me, yes, I don't believe half of this bullshit, he said. They said, do you ever go to that little china cabinet my mother had for novelties in the living room? Screenged in there many's a time. There was a little moleskin bag in there that had gold nuggets in it. And that was the gold that Charles McKinney sent from Alaska or California. I think he was in both. But he said he had struck it rich and then sent these nuggets home to prove it. And after that they heard nothing from him. They figured he was assassinated for his claim.
It's funny, it was
But
just,
I'd like to know if he had any relations in California. I put that on the internet one night.
yeah. I was looking here on the internet, and there's a thing here, and this is by the National Museum of Ireland, and it says in 1892, Maud Gonne contributed a series of articles to the French periodical Journal de Voyage under the title Le Martyr d'Ireland. Feature here recalls an incident in 1888 in which Father McFadden of Derry Bag, County Donegal,
That's right.
a noted defender of the rights of tenant farmers,
Yes,
became involved in a fracas in which a police inspector was accidentally killed. Yeah, there's a picture of the thing here, but it's all in French.
your grandfather, Big Mick, he was, where he lived out there in Claudia, pretty sure.
My grandfather John, my grandfather John, your grandfather.
Yeah.
But why'd they call him Big Mick if his name was John?
No, Big Mick. No, his name was Michael.
Dad's your father's father was named Michael.
My father's father was named John.
John, but his father.
My mother's father was named Mick Crossan.
Oh, God, sorry. Big Mick Crossan. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Gotcha. And anyway, he what?
He was a rebel training the young kids in the Roundwoods. And, you know, there's a lot of, I was out there at the tomb of, in Dungiven, there's a lot of McKinneys buried there. And around there in that area.
So if Grandma was from Cuidor?
O'Boyle,
No, Grandma was from
Claudy,
Claudy, sorry. That's in Derry, right? Or that's in Donegal?
County Derry.
That is, oh, okay. And then Grandpa was from where? His
I don't
folks
know
were
where he
from?
was from. Her husband, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, your dad.
Your grandmother on your mother's side was Doran. D-O-R-A-N.
Yeah, no, I mean, your father, where was he born? Derry or Donegal?
Terry, I believe, yeah.
Derry? I mean, were the McKinneys all based kind of in Derry since a while, or they?
They were all licking around County Derry, down around the valley of the River Fochen,
Okay.
down around Limavady and Eglinton, where the River Foyle grows out to the estuary there.
Okay, just wondered.
Oh, Terence. My mother was taking me up to visit her sister Annie, beautiful woman. We were passing this, we went up this little two-lane country rocky road, you know what, man. And we were coming up and I spotted this bar, and the bar had a sign out over it, McKinney's Bar. And there was a bunch of guys lined up outside, early in the morning now. And my mother says, James, when we get up here, if any of these guys speak to you, ignore them. I said, why is that? She said, well, they're all your relations, and we don't want to have nothing to do with them.
Okay.
So I told him, my man told me, all the guys, how you doing there, young fella? Hey, you look like Charlie, you look like, man, young fella, you look like, mush. You got the head in the air, and the heather pointing right, feather pointing right up in the air, and then over back.
So there's a McKinney School Academy of Irish Dance in Derry.
Hmm?
There's a McKinney Academy of Irish Dance in Derry.
Yeah.
There is today still. It's funny. I mean, I don't know if it's the
Well,
same one related
you
or
know
not, but
where it all originated. If you want to read someone, dial up Nellie Sweeney. She was my aunt by marriage. Her sister was married to my uncle, my dad's brother, Jimmy. And in all of Ireland, Irish dancing had taken a downslide. It was very little of it. But Nellie was a forerunner and a forceful forerunner in the restoration of Irish dancing to the Irish culture. And she taught all the teachers, Brendan D. Glynn, Ted Kavanagh, O'Moore. She taught all them people that were all Ireland champions that won in Australia and won all over the world and organised their own school of dancing.
yeah, here it is in online here. It says this. I'm talking about this Lillian, a great dancer.
Lillian Moore.
Yeah, Lillian O'Moore, the world champion. Living memories of Lillian O'Moore. Says here, world champions. Blah blah blah.
Well, it was McKinney's in her dance classes.
Yeah, Lillian herself began with a few lessons from Miss Nellie Sweeney, Blue Bell Hill Terrace.
Blue Bell Hill Terrace. Yeah,
And it says,
Jimmy's wife's sister.
yeah, it says she was the mother of us all in dancing, really.
Yeah.
And then was a pupil of the renowned dancer Brendan de Glynn from Clarendon Street.
Eugene O'Donnell.
Yeah, well, Eugene O'Donnell was
Dancer.
a dancer, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
All Ireland champion.
Yeah, he stayed with Junior McKinney for a while. You know?
Somewhere.
He did. He was divorced there, and he ended up staying.
Huh?
He was divorced, and I think he ended
I
up
think
staying
it
with.
was, yeah, I think it was somewhere. I forget Terence Street. You don't remember everything, you know. But Nellie was the one that organised it all.
Yeah.
I was going there. I was taking Irish dance lessons. Micky was going there. Now, there was McKinney's attending O'Moore's School of Dancing. Now, they probably went out on their own and opened a McKinney School of Dancing.
Yeah, very likely.
was great fun.
Okay.
Then Mickey used to play the accordion for the dancers.
Faughan. So would Faughan be a very orange town, or would Faughan be a nationalist area?
That was mostly orange, I think, by a slight majority.
Okay.
The area was generally speaking orange. More orange lodges and
Yeah. Yeah, isn't it the way it is anyway in Derry? Derry City is mostly nationalist and Catholic, but the surrounding area would be the farms, right? Because of the land. If you think about it. Well, if you think about it, the land was owned by the Protestants, so the farms were owned by the Protestants.
yeah,
The Catholics were jammed in the city,
yeah.
right? Just tenant farmers are living in the city jammed.
The land grab, like Indians. Land grabbing Indians are on television during the westerns. You see them out there trying to grab the land. Bastards.
Trying to steal back
Land thieves.
trying to steal back the land from
No,
the cowboys.
I told them that, we were watching a movie down here. That's these damn Indians, they should have killed them all. They were a bunch of land grabbers and carpetbaggers, and they go, we want Utah back.
Oh,
You know when things started to be Terence in Canada? I was working in Canada, there was a guy there.
Why did you go to Canada?
It's the only place we'd get in.
No, but I mean, why would you?
Adventure.
Oh, why would, I mean, really, wouldn't you have gone to England? Like, wouldn't everyone just go to
I
England?
went to Canada, I rolled off my qualifications to Massey, Harry, Ferguson, Ford, and I forget, 7 of them
So you sent letters out, because there was no work in Derry,
we had.
right?
And they
Basically.
said, well, them and I got over there,
Over where?
over to Canada,
Okay.
things had turned down.
Ah,
They were laying off, just during that season.
all right.
And I'll tell you, your mother was a gem, Terence. To travel with, spunky as hell, but not violently, nicely.
Okay.
I remember we were going through and we had no money and it was colder than a well digger's ass.
Yeah.
And Angela, I said to Angela, I said I would like a cup of coffee. We were walking, we had no car, no bus there. And she says, when? Should I have a little snug nose turn? Well, this won't last long, James. Does she see somebody coming me money? I said, no, she says, I have great faith in you. And Terence, I could feel a re-urgency in me surging. She gave me pride back. And do you know what the end result of that was? Times later, when I was telling people in Toronto that were taking me out to see the city, oh, I know, I've walked out here. You walked out here? Yeah. I applied for a job with so-and-so there. And I walked down to the docks and I got a job. I ended up with 7 jobs. And when I'd go to the Catholic church where the Irish all met, And I tell them, we'd get around a group talking like people would, you know. And I'd say, wow, anybody need a better job? They say, well, I said, if you want one, I think I can give you some leads. And I give away a job in British American Oil. Matt McClellan, an Orangeman in Belfast, gave me a job. And he was the boss on skilled trades.
It was in Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he says, Jimmy, I don't know how long I can keep you. He said, we have a seniority thing here, he says. But he said, I'll keep you as long as I can. He stalled and stalled. And then I got a job with the railroads, Toronto Terminal Railroads.
Yep.
A guy called McClellan, an Orangeman, best fella you ever met. There was other people there ahead of me. There was, I give something like 6 jobs away.
Yeah. So how long did you work on the rail? What were you doing on the railways? What were you doing on the railway?
Electricians,
Oh.
mostly sleeping on the bench at night. And then you know what happened? There's a guy there, Dermot Swan, Dublin guy. That's nobody, you don't want to go near Dublin-named people if you're trying to make a name for yourself as being reliable. To know, no avoiding. I didn't know that. The Dermot would call me over and we worked in the same building. Hey, Jimmy, you know what they just gave me? I don't know what they gave me there. Well, they gave me the key for the 2 of us when we're there in security check at night. I said, well, it's all right, but do you know where we looked out? No. He says, well, do you know when they're having a wedding or a party, where they put the beer in there and they lock it? I got the key for that. I said, oh, Jesus, good luck smiling on us. We were loving that stuff out of the electrical shop,
Yeah.
down in the electrical shop,
Helping yourself.
drinking beer, calling guys up from Derry and Belfast. Hey, we're having a bit of a party today. You want to come down and sing Danny Boy quietly? And then wanted of all the bottles picked up, but on the belt, thinking to pick up the bottle caps. And all that guys that had worked there 50 years before Davy Crockett founded Cadbury. Walking around there, mostly English, you know. What are all these bottle caps doing here? Well, I used to say bottle caps.
Yeah.
That was my hobby, and I lost them last night.
All the same brand, and they're all beer.
Then to go out and start them big trucks that tow the scrap wagons around, plug them in. We forgot to unplug them. We started the generators, which meant not that the generator was charging the battery was motoring the generator. All flat. They come out there wanting to move our trucks. And there was down in the basement. They had to run through a tunnel to get the synchronized switches you done there.
So who is this guy? Who is O'Keefe then?
Huh?
Who is O'Keefe?
That was an Australian, very likable, lovely, nutty, crazy son of a bitch that tried to get me killed about 5 times. Nearly succeeded.
Did you meet him in Toronto?
Yeah.
head case? Who was it you were?
You know, he ended up working for, I got him a job. And O'Keefe was a bit of a bum. It was Aussie, you know.
Mhm.
And your mother and I took him out fishing in Stony Creek. Now, you know, that's a very placid place. And O'Keefe sitting in the boat
I
there.
mean, up in Toronto, or down in Detroit. Wouldn't have been Stony Creek.
Must have been, well, it must have been out there in Detroit, yeah. Would have been Detroit.
Oh, did he come to Detroit?
I met him in Canada. He followed me. He and I were going to San Francisco.
Oh, of course.
I stopped off with Joe Connolly and his wife, and I beat Joe at 3 games of pool, and Joe got pissed off because he lost, and he punched me in the face, and I beat the piss out of him. So his wife came along, Joe's all floating, bleeding. Nothing wrong, Joe. She says, James. She was from Derry. She says, James, she says, you know, my Joe needed that for a long time. He's always fighting and arguing and everything. But she says, you know, it would be bad news to go back to our house for you to stay with us. I said, that's all right. She says, why, so why is that? She says, well, it's up the stairs. I got the message, yeah. But O'Keefe,
Didn't he hit?
he didn't know where he was. I lost someone and I had to keep track of him.
Were you guys staying together or what?
Huh?
Was he staying with you or what?
Where we went?
Was he staying with you?
He used to stay with me, yeah, once in a while. He stayed all over the place. He was like a hobo.
Yeah.
I had to tell him to go get himself goddamn washed. Burn his underwear. I had to burn his underwear. And where, he said, did you see my underwear? I said, yeah. Where was it? That's the last time I seen it. There was fleas jumping out of it.
Weren't you didn't you say he had a car, he had a right wheel drive car or something, or he had a Holden or an Aussie car?
Oh, old English car.
An English car?
Yeah.
So on the wrong
Hillman mix.
Hillman, that was it.
And I had cardboard over the back floorboards. Had it getting it. As a matter of fact, you know. Once a cardboard, don't step in it. There's no floor there. Then a wet day, the cardboard get wet and see the road.
This in Toronto? Was that his car or yours?
It was a big, when I left there, and that was a swanky car, you know. All the boys that played golf and all, up trust that, Hillman mix.
Yeah, but
So
what?
I bought that thing for about $12.
Oh, in Toronto. Yeah, one year in Canada it would be destroyed, right, with the salt and the snow.
Yeah.
1 year in Canada would destroy it.
It was destroyed when I got it and spent it. England sent it over. England sent them cars over to this market without a heater. If you bought the car, you had to pay to get a heater installed. Then I had a Ford that you couldn't shut a heater off. And when I was driving to Toronto, in the summer when it was 90 degrees and the Queen Elizabeth couldn't turn the heat off, and you saw him.
But this was it you saying?
No, fell off or broke a connection.
Wasn't it you? But weren't you saying you got pulled over by the police?
What?
Didn't you say you get pulled over by the police with this?
For speeding?
For the car driving on the wrong side of the road, or the?
No, it was O'Keefe, and he had a Pontiac, a Bonneville, built in about 1959, brand new. He was taking that to Australia with him, and he had to tell me, one of these guys you couldn't argue with, you know. He said, he gets, you know, sneer and all this stuff, you know, character. I'll get a bloody quid for every dollar I spent here. That's doubling, tripling my money if I get this car to Australia. So I had this Bonneville built. And I remember we were going down through New York and we were flogging it. First mistake we made was somewhere down New York. We got off at the state park and we pulled upon this nice lump of grass to sleep for the night. The state troopers told us, "What the hell are you guys doing now?" I says, "Oh, we're going to sleep." "You're what?" "Well, get off the goddamn grass. This is state, this is all." They ran us off.
Oh.
So, that old Ford, that was fun. We got up there to Toronto and meet all the Irish and the Germans, and I was at a wedding there one night.
Toronto? Yeah.
Tom Jordan was getting married to a German girl. Bunch of Germans there. They had the upstairs reception and the boarding house for Tom Jordan's 500. So we're all crowded in the one room, the Irish and the Germans, you know. And then this guy started picking on me. And he come over to me, he says, "Hey, so you want to arm wrestle?" "Nah," I says, "I want to be bothered." He says, "You don't want to arm wrestle me?" I said, "No." "You afraid of losing?" "No, I'm not afraid of losing." But he kept after me all night long. So I was sitting in the corner out of his way, and he came over and said, "You want to arm wrestle?" He's getting a few gargles at him, you know. A little bit older than me. Must have been in the army at that time. German army, something. So I says to him, I said, "Look, I'm telling you for the last time." I said, "Stay away from me." He said, "You're Scott."
You're what?
"Scared."
Oh.
I said, "Scared?" I said, "My dad shot more of you bastards off the end of his bayonet, which he never shot." No.
Yeah.
So he put his hand on me and I grabbed him. I was right strong at the time. And that window was up the stairs of the house. Window was halfway open. Right out there was the insulators for the service coming in. And I grabbed him so fast and I bent him with such vigor that I had him on his back. Because the windowsill was that far off the ground. I had a hanging him out there, he's dead out there. And I said, "Adolph, look at that, Adolph, gonna tell you one more time. Next time I get you in this position, you're going all the way down. That's it, I'm gonna drop you." That sucker, I got him in there. He was paled, and all the Germans in that room, they started melting out of there. Then we went to a dance with the firemen. Some Irish was marrying a fireman up there, all there. But I went out to dance with Danny Jordan's wife, which was common, we all mixed dancing.
These were, and I remember the name, and I remember vaguely them.
You wouldn't want to encounter them anymore, Terence.
They're what?
They were nuts.
Yeah. But you met them in Toronto, right?
Yeah, oh, you know, one of a time here in Toronto. But I came back from dancing with Eilish, and your mom's sitting there, and she was just, you know, she was very beautiful. And she's sitting there's tears in her eyes, running down her cheek, you know. And I said, Angela, what's wrong? She says, that fellow across the table, she said, made very nasty suggestions to me while you were gone. I said, that guy over there? She says, yeah. You sure? She says, yeah. So I went over there, she got parked across the table from him. And I said to him, were you making suggestions to my wife that were nasty? Oh, I only said. Oh, you did? You did say it? I reached over and grabbed him. I pulled him and knocked him. I had him this way. Started bleeding to mouth and nose. Threw him on the floor. Let him go with a chair out of the way. They all came in after the dancing man name. He says to me, listen, what happened there? I don't know, I was thinking it to us this week. Terence, we get up this stuff over there. We used to go up, knock at people's doors, about 8 of us. I mean, we all had accommodation. Go up and knock at the door. We used to get the paper and look at the ads. Then we'd call a bunch of, go out the, had this folks. Ring the doorbell, Eilleen, ring the doorbell. Oh, hello, can I help you? We've seen your ad in the paper for accommodations here. Could we look at the accommodations? Well, yes, you can. You head off up the stairs. The guys put a sink at the top of the stairs as you get out of the stairs, right there, because there's nowhere to put a sink. Where is the kitchen here? Oh, it's 4 floors down. I said, well, you mean like if you put your dinner out downstairs and you came up here, by the time you get back down again, it would be cold. Well, I never really thought it, and Eilleen started laughing. And this whole place, we'd go around different doors just doing that, going up the stairs and looking, you know, and saying, well, actually, could you put us all up? You know, it became a big bullshit trip. All these
A prank.
Yeah. But we laughed, we had more laughs. And then we had a little Morris Minor. We used to
A
go-
Morris Minor in Toronto?
Yeah.
Must have been a lot of English cars there.
Oh yeah, mostly English cars. No
Really?
heaters in them. That was, well, it was ship-on car over to Canada.
Oh, of
Colony
course.
bastards, put a heater in it. Up the price, you know.
Oh, Lord.
But it was a good little road car.
Yeah, Morris Minor was a good car. Uncle Michael used to have, Michael used to have
head
one.
off, we had 8 people in and go to Niagara Falls.
It's a small car, really.
You hear the arse of it, the back axle was scraping off the road. And there was a leak in the roof. So if you went on a bend this way, the guy's sitting there.
Oh, yeah.
But that was when we were young and jolly. But your mother was great fun. She was.
Yeah.
And she would sing. She had a great voice. We used to get into a bar in Dublin. It was a very popular bar, 2 bars. One was just, they called it the Long Bar. It was a very beautiful bar. The other one was up the stairs. The only thing is, it had its peculiarities. When you went there, you had to knock a certain way on the door. You remember that song? Da, 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 knock 3 times, that was in session. And you go bang, 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 bang. Now this little people, hello, how are you? Angela and I wanted to come up the stairs. And he said, can I see your wife? Oh yeah, Angela, yeah. Why not? Because everybody up there was obligated to sing
Oh, I see.
or dance.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's hard
And
to.
I'll tell you, Terence, that was a right hoolie of a night. You know, nobody got drunk. They all went up for a great sing-song. There was one old lady used to get up there, and the guy that enters, yes sir, you know, she looked the part. Dubliner, old Dublin woman, you know. Here is Mrs. Finnegan, who's looking thin again. You know, and then guys came over from New York that were dancers, done the old soft shoe and all that stuff.
I remember you guys had sing-songs with the Lanes in Detroit.
Huh?
Remember you used to have sing-songs with the Lanes in Detroit.
Dunleavy's, yeah.
I remember
And the Scotch, it's happy hour, a Scotch hour. One guy said to me one night over the Scotch hour, they were all singing about Ireland, Mother Ireland, the Scots, and most of them were Irish there. Yeah.
And where was this at?
Huh?
At Dunleavy's?
Any Scots you met over there were Irish, or Irish descent, or their grandmothers were.
Where?
And Dunleavy's are the Scottish happy hour.
Where's that?
It was just north up in Finkel.
Oh, I didn't know the place. It was called the Scottish Happy Hour?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know. Scottish
it was
Happy.
very good. They had a good sing-song there, and everybody up there was willing to sing. And Eilleen and Smallwood was up with us one night, and Stanley was singing, and he was good at it.
Was
It
he?
didn't sound great,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll tell you what,
Steady.
it was effective in the voice.
Okay.
He used to always sing, are you lonesome tonight? Do you miss me tonight? Are you sorry we drifted apart? Does your memory stray to that bright summer's day when I kissed you and called you sweetheart? Does that chair in your parlor seem empty and bare? Do you gaze out your window and picture me there?
Who's that song by?
Does your heart fill with pain?
Good memory.
Will I come back again? Tell me, dear, are you lonesome tonight?
You have a good memory. Who does that song?
Huh?
Who did that song?
Stanley does.
Yeah, but who's the original singer of that song? Are you lonesome tonight? I know the song.
A lot of them songs were old. The English music hall was mostly Irish.
Yeah. That's an American song, though, I think. That was done by a country
Well,
western or
I
something.
don't know the Irish.
Hank Williams or something like that, I think,
Well,
maybe. Or,
yeah. Well, he had the voice for it,
yeah.
because he couldn't hit the high notes, but he had a gravelly voice that could snail track across the board.
Found the right song.
And then the Mullen brothers, they'd come in there, they'd sing their song. And then Eileen's says to me, ah, dear God, Seamus. She called him her little Terence, you know, lovely woman. Smallwood. Seamus. Which they won't say, Orangeism won't say Seamus to Gaelic, not allowed to say Seamus. Would you sing us an Irish song? And I'm half in the bag. And Stanley's there, he's, you know, the red cheeks and the red nose.
Stanley's a good orangeman too, right? So,
Best.
yeah.
And I says, I didn't think, I just got started off on it before I put the whole thing together. It was the wrong thing to do. Open this orange beat. There are bonfires on the hillside. There's sentries in the glen. And Nielsen and McCracken are marching with their men. All together, dear Ireland calls. Hear the quietness.
Crickets.
Comes tonight and over hill and dell, the green flag will be fluttering free. And I look around, I see these bulging eyes. And then he says, but oh, God,
Eilleen.
that was lovely. We really enjoyed that, but don't sing it again. And Stanley's sitting there. But you see, Angela was fun. She was.
Well, do you want to open up the presents? I'm gonna
get a drink of some of your terms.
get.
There you go again. Good job, it's not full.